Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and welcome to this week's episode of The Knife Guy. So what are we talking about today? This is something that I have briefly touched on a long time ago, but as I've mentioned many times, it is absolutely important to talk about some of this stuff again, because there are way more people watching right now. Today, I want to talk about something that I absolutely have been affected by, believe it or not, and that is the extreme itch, right? This is, it's no secret, this hobby, getting into collecting pocket knives and like just being involved in the knife world in general, you catch that bug, like it's confused. People are like, whoever do that, right? And then they catch the bug and it's not just like, oh, I get it. It's like, I blacked out for a little bit and now I am hundreds or thousands of dollars in debt and I cannot stop, right? And I'm partially joking, but I'm also, you know, pretty serious. I run a large YouTube channel that, you know, the idea here is, hey, look at this cool stuff that's available. Here's what I think about it, right? And a lot of people jokingly always tell me, like, my bank account hates you, my significant other hates you, you know, I'm in debt, ha ha ha. And I'm always like, yeah, but I also kind of feel kind of bad about it because my channel absolutely makes some people feel like, you know, they gotta keep up with the newest thing. Before I ran this YouTube channel, I was already deep in the hobby. Deep in the hobby. And, there were many times that I bought knives that I could not afford. It just sickens me to think about that, where I was like, they came out with the new thing. The exclusive drop. Oh, I forgot about that. I was going to buy that. And there's a little, you know, that part, the angel and the demon on your shoulder thing, and there's just a brief moment where the angel's like, hey, maybe we should just not, you know, probably better if we just don't buy it. And then in my case, the devil on the other side was like, or you could just go ahead and buy it, and then you could have it and just deal with it, right? And you justify, I don't need to, I don't need to pay this month, or I don't need to, you know, I don't need to put anything in savings or whatever, right? And it always stings, right? You buy it and then you have it for a little bit and then you, right? Eventually I taught myself, and this is where, you know, blade forums came in and just the secondary market, buying, selling, and trading. I was heavily mitigating the amount that I was losing by trading or selling things after I grew tired of them. I could not afford, right now I have a huge collection of knives. And the reason that I'm able to do this is the YouTube channel, right? That's, but if you didn't know, that's how I pay for this stuff, right? I also get some things sent to me. The vast majority of the more expensive stuff, though, if you didn't know, I pay for. I budget for it, right? This channel has a budget. I buy things that I want to show you guys for content, right? Make people aware of. But the intention of this channel is not to make people feel like they need to buy every single cool thing. That is an unfortunate side effect that occurs sometimes. And while you could make the argument, well, that's not really your responsibility, people need to be responsible with their own income. True, but I'm also providing the content and telling people, subscribe, I upload videos every single day. Watch them. Look at this new thing. It's really expensive. Whatever, I think it's really cool, right? So I need to take as somebody who knows what that feels like, right? It's the fear of missing out, wanting to be on top of everything, wanting to add the newest, coolest thing that everybody, right? Remember what happened with the Winter Blade Cofactor? We all know what happened with that. Me and a bunch of other people, not just reviewers, but just people who buy knives, blew it up on every corner of the internet. And everyone was like, I don't know, I feel like I gotta have this thing. And, you know, the reaffirmation, it comes in and it's like, wow, this is really cool, right? And you get that feeling of elation. They said it was cool. I got excited about it, hyped it up in my own head. I waited and waited and waited, and then I got it, and it was awesome, and this feeling is awesome. I want to duplicate that. I want to do it again, right? And so you're like, well, I'll watch Metal Complex because he's always showing things, right? So I do get excited about this stuff. running the YouTube channel makes it easy for me because I have it's a pre-decided budget. It varies month to month, but it is a pre-decided budget. And I had to teach myself, like, you now have more access to this stuff, right? When I was younger and dumber, more stupider, I did not budget at all. I was like, I have money and I will spend it, and whatever, I'll deal with my 401k and all of that other stuff. Insurance, what's that? Who cares, right? I'll deal with all of that stuff later. I don't care. People would say things like, well, you can't take it with you. You might as well spend it. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes me feel better, right? I won't worry about, you know, the later years in my life or anything like that. And then you get older and you realize, actually, I've spent like a decade not making the right choices and buying this other stuff that I've made myself feel like was a good investment, that it may or may not be worth this or that, or I might not be able to take it and responsibly, you know, sell it and then take that money and do the right thing. I might not be able to do that, right? So anyways, I had to slow to teach. It's funny, running a YouTube channel about knives and, you know, amassing an enormous collection, ironically, actually taught me how to budget and be more careful with that stuff, right? But it's important. It doesn't matter what scale you're going to do this at, right? I understand the guy who has the enormous collection is preaching, like, don't try to buy a whole bunch of pocket knives, right? But whatever scale you enjoy this at, it doesn't matter if you're somebody who buys a knife every month or every 2 weeks or once a year, right? It does not, you can apply this and scale it however you want, right? And it doesn't have to be about knives. You know, social media and YouTube and, I mean, everything, literally everything is an ad, right? Even people like me who are reviewing products and trying to be honest and trying to, like, make people aware, like, hey, you don't have to, don't feel like you absolutely have to go out and buy this, right? Even people like me, right? The way that it comes across, the way that, you know, human beings react to stuff when they actually want it is it does serve as an advertisement of said thing, right? And then there's this giant community backing it and talking about it, right? A lot of us are fully integrated in YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Reddit, right? So if you're not being advertised to by me, a lot of people say, oh, all Metal Complex's channel is just a giant advertisement. You put yourself in the middle of ad city by discussing the very things that I'm talking about on forums. You and everybody else are advertising these things to each other, whether you realize it or not. And the potency there is 100-fold versus sitting here and watching me. Wherever you go to enjoy the things that you enjoy or learn about the things that you want to learn about so that you can enjoy them, you are willingly placing yourself in front of a different type of advertisement, right? It can be an honest, an advertisement, you don't have to view it as a black and white thing, right? I'm using a word that people automatically associate with negative, right? Deceptive. But you understand what I mean. Whatever it is that you like, whatever it is that you enjoy, you will seek it out. You will seek you will seek a group or a crowd or, you know, a social gathering of people who are like-minded, right? And you all convince each other of things that are better or worse, and then you buy the things that you enjoy, right? So we do this. The world has made this easy, right? We have these little groups, and it's just everything is so optimized and focused, just this crazy and just ultra concentrated laser beam of perfect, like, here it is, you want it, you gotta get it, there it is, it's on sale, get it, right? That's we do, right? I mean, however honest people are, right? People like me will go out of their way and try to find things that I think are cool and a good price, and no matter how, you know, like, it's a great deal, right? It's very easy to trip up and just be like, I gotta get this because it's such a good deal. I would be stupid not to, right? I would be silly not to. I'm losing money by not buying this right now. And then you end up with a whole bunch of stuff and potentially a lot of debt, a lot of financial trouble, right? This can go for anything. In the long term, right? I think about all the times that I, you know, hyped something up in my mind and pulled the trigger when I was not, you know, financially stable enough to do it. How many times did that pan out to be a good idea? Way before the channel, so many times. So many times. So many stupid decisions, right? And here's the thing. If you can budget for it, because there's always, you know, people who say that, like, a fool and his money are soon parted. Well, people are so dumb with money. People spend money on the silliest thing. It's all, like, if you find yourself saying stuff like that, stop, right? Number one, don't concern yourself with other people's money. Concern yourself with your own money and your own budget, right? Chances are, if you're having to say that, it's more than likely that you have filled your existence with terrible financial decisions and are essentially just lashing out at other people. Whenever I see that, I go, that guy's made a lot of dumb choices, right? And this is helping that person feel better about those dumb choices, right? By criticizing other people and the decisions that they have made. The element that's left out there is you have no idea whether or not the person who's buying this stuff is actually financially stable enough to make these types of choices, right? If you are, and I'm not saying like, you know, if you're rich, great. And if you're not, again, apply this to whatever scale. My thing is and I'm fortunate to have a lot of people in my life who were really good influences on me through my mid to late 20s and now into my 30s. I got real lucky. My wife's one of them, and I have a couple of friends who also just were very positive influences on me. And, you know, taking care of your bills is just one layer of it, right? And I'm not trying to preach it, but you do whatever you want. You make yourself happy, right? Do the things that you do. We only have one life, right? So I do believe that it's okay periodically to spend a little bit and enjoy something that you want to enjoy. That's okay, right? Find ways to be happy, right? Everything's a balancing act, though. All things in moderation, says the guy who has over 120 pocket knives. I know. But just paying your bills is one thing. Right? Being able to pay all of your everything consistently, right? I know some people are like, I don't believe in credit scores. Well, that's like saying, like, I don't believe that the atmosphere exists or that the sun is real. It's there. It does, right? And life is really hard if you don't acknowledge that it is real, right? So whatever, just saying. I found that coming from a position in my life where I had an absolutely terrible credit score and couldn't do anything, now to, you know, a very good credit score and have made better financial decisions and things, that life becomes easier. I understand this is coming off very preachy. I don't want to, I'm trying to be really careful about this. I don't want to step on toes or suggest that, you know, however your life is right now, that it is suboptimal, right? Or be like, I used to be like this, so I'm allowed to preach to people. I don't want to be like that at all, right? Not at all. I'm just saying, in my personal experience, I have found that the other end of this spectrum is it makes things easier, right? Things are far less stressful. The amount of stress now is just like, I have to do a video and get the next knife, ironically. But yeah, paying your bills, paying all of your bills and paying them consistently is important, right? I'm not saying go out and finance a whole bunch of stuff. This isn't like here's how you get a good, I'm not saying that. But it's important to make sure that you are, however it is that you do this, however it is, you know, I don't want to get too technical, but I think most people can agree it's a good idea to save money as much as you possibly can, right? Set a goal, a barrier, right? There's a threshold that you don't ever go past, no matter what. And, you know, when I finally did this, when I said, okay, no matter what, I'm going to put this amount back. I'm going to put this amount here and this amount here. I'm going to put this back. Then, right? Then whatever's left over should be concentrated into other things, right? Necessities, right? Your war chest, right? Your what if fund. Everybody's different. Some people, it's not possible, and I get that, right? But this is for me. You have to shape and mold this for yourself, right? You and in your current situation is the only one that should matter to you, right? This is not apply all. My situation is not going to be the same as somebody who has, you know, an incredible, ridiculous income, right? And my situation is not going to be the same as other people, right? It's like everybody else. But you should set up a specific parameter, a never you know, never alter this. Always put this amount back. Save it. Do whatever you can, right? And then once all of that is taken care of, once you have met all of the requirements for your own standards, right? Whatever your goal is, then whatever's left over, you can honestly say is your fun money or your whatever, your hobby money or whatever it is, right? Then, sure, go ahead, enjoy it. Do what you like to do, right? Get on Instagram and, you know, look at the shiniest, flashiest stuff, and whatever you feel like would bring you happiness in that moment, then go ahead. I think that's great. But under no circumstances do I think that people should ever, you know, watch my channel or other channels like it and feel obligated, right, to just always get everything as if, you know, there's nothing else to think about, right? Gosh, there's just no way around it. It just sounds preachy. I just really want to make sure, because I understand how aggressively itchy this hobby is. It is so difficult to not, you know, I've been tempted to buy things where I think about it and I'm like, do I even want this, or am I just doing this robotically? Then I was like, oh man, that is dangerous. I'm doing this, right? When I think about the way that my content projects to people, there are definitely other people doing this as a result of my content, right? And you guys are all cool and nice about it. Nobody's ever been like, you know, I've got tens of thousands of dollars in debt because of your channel and I blame you. No one's ever said that, you know, but it is a little haunting to think about. So, yeah. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I hope I didn't come off as too preachy. I don't want to be too pushy, or I don't want to come off as, you know, take my advice. I'm wiser and older now. I don't want to be like, because that's annoying, right? I've been through it, so let me tell you how to do it. Everybody should go through their own journey and live their own life and learn their own lessons the way that they're going to, right? Age does not always, or wisdom does not always come with age. I'm sorry, universal wisdom does not always come with age. Sometimes lessons that you learn that are beneficial for your life are the end result is absolutely terrible advice for somebody else, right? Which is why I always cringe when people are like, I've lived through the ball, so I'm going to tell you how to do everything without knowing anything about your life. That's just nonsense, right? It doesn't apply the same way to everybody. So I hope this translated well. Buy what you enjoy, set a pace for yourself, be reasonable, right? Cater it to your own world and how that works, right? And make sure that you can eliminate as much stress as possible, and don't give in to the retail therapy urges, because it is fleeting. It's momentary. It will not solve your problems. You know, eliminate as much stress as possible first, and then treat yourself if possible. That's going to be pretty much it. Sorry about the I'm really sorry about the ultra preachy episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please, make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.